So we're going to talk about general gameplay feel. We're going to talk about specific weapons, specific maps. I still don't remember the name of the map with the banished anti-aircraft cannon.
Just call it the AA gun map, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so it is day 10. Today is the 10th day that Halo Infinite has been out. It is also Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Halo Infinite is still super fun. The Battle Pass and store system is really rearing its ugly head, and I think literally everyone will not shut up about it, which is good because they shouldn't. It's a shame that like every game that comes out nowadays has to be yelled at until companies fix their bullshit instead of just having a good system to begin with. But 343 has shown an interest in wanting to change it for the better. They've already changed the battle pass a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to get through. I think 50 XP for playing a match is not enough. I think a lot of people have already talked about this as well. Like 50 XP for playing a match flat is fine. Winning a match should net you probably 100 or 150 more, so that way you get that. Kills, assists, objective captures, those should net you points as well. Your XP should go towards the battle pass. Your general gameplay should be going towards that and doesn't, and it really sucks. And it's just not fun, especially once you complete the weekly challenges. It's like, all right, cool, now every other thing I do is just going to be 50 XP until the next set of weekly challenges. The general gameplay feel still super good. The game's still super fun. Most of the weapons are really good and interesting. We'll get to weapon specifics. I think all the maps are really good, except Deadlock pretty much sucks on every game mode. It's too flat, it's too large. Deadlock is just a bad map. It's got a cool aesthetic. It's got that, that kind of nighttime feel to it and whatever, but it's too flat, it's too open. It's not even like vehicle-sided or anything like that, because vehicles suck on it. The turrets suck on it. I just do not like that map. Every other map I like a lot. I like the other BTB maps, especially the one that's like Valhalla. I still don't remember the names of these maps.
I have a list.
What is it called?
Fragmentation.
Fragmentation, yes. Fragmentation's a very good map.
Fragmentation's a lot of fun.
I don't much care for the one that's got the saber on it.
Launch site?
Countdown?
Launch site.
Launch site. Oh, I think it was called Countdown and Reach.
Launch site is weird because it's like the one-sided capture the flag. It is perfectly fine for that, but everything else, it just kind of suffers in because of how big it is. It's fun for custom games as well.
Custom games it's a lot of fun for, but actually playing it
4v4.
in PvP, it's not much fun.
The map layout itself is fine, yeah. It probably needs a 6v6 game mode, and I know there are 6v6 game modes in previous Halo games, so maybe we'll eventually see that.
It's a weird, odd shape as well, and it's one-sided because the one side has high ground, and you can catch people off guard very easily.
But the other side has vehicles as well, which is why I think it's a good one-side CTF map. I forget what the name of that mode is called.
But the issue with the vehicles then, if someone has a sniper that's 3 shots with the sniper, or like the vehicles really can't do much, especially if we're talking like Fiesta.
Oh, Fiesta, yeah, that gets bad on Fiesta.
All the quick play maps I like a lot. Streets, I like. Bazaar, I like. Live Fire is probably my favorite of the bunch. Aquarius is fun too. I think Aquarius is my least favorite of the 4, but it's not a bad map by any means. It's just the most enclosed of all the maps.
I think it's good for very sweaty gameplay.
It's a fun CTF map.
It's my favorite CTF map.
When they add SWAT, I know I'm gonna fucking love it on that map.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's another thing. After the first week, or 10 days, there's not a whole lot of game modes yet. And I know they're calling this a beta, which is mostly bullshit PR buzz, because we've played every single map 10 times over. I'm familiar with everything. It also really sucks to get Battle Pass challenges for specific modes. Like I had a mode for get 25 kills in Slayer, and then 5 matches in a row, I got every other quick play thing but Slayer. So that was really frustrating, and not being able to queue into specific game modes when you have specific challenges is stupid. They should just make the challenges either just quick play or just BT so you can choose a playlist, or give us specific playlists for specific game modes, which I think everybody wants. Everybody wants to be able to just queue up to Slayer, because I do not want to play Oddball. I hate Oddball. I have always hated Oddball. And that's how they do it in the MCC, is you have a big list of modes and you can just click off of modes you don't want. I don't know why that's not a thing in Infinite when MCC has it. Honestly, I don't know why there's a lot of things that aren't in Infinite because MCC has it, because MCC has had it for over a year at this point. They would have had the time to implement it into Infinite before now.
When I heard that Infinite was going to have a battle pass system, I was like, okay, cool. So it's going to be like in the MCC, where it's like there's
Everything
a
you
block
do
of
gets
10.
you battle pass.
Yeah, and instead it's fuck you, grind out all these challenges. And thankfully this week, Fiesta has been kind of a godsend for the weapon challenges.
Well, so yeah, that's another thing. Fiesta as a... They may be putting it in as a permanent mode after this event, but Fiesta as an event mode is ridiculous because Fiesta has been a normal mode in every single other Halo. Having it as a potentially limited time mode that gets cycled out every couple of weeks over the season is ridiculous. Also, the event sucks. It just straight up sucks. You can level up 7 times per the week, and the event lasts for just this week until January. So from when it started to, I guess, Tuesday, last Tuesday to next Tuesday, those are the only 7 days you can make your way through the challenge. You can only get to level 7. There are 30 levels.
Yeah, and most of the levels are just challenge swaps and XP boosts.
You get the 1 armor at 5, and then you get a few stickers. Their challenge system is so bad that they know they have to give you more challenge swaps, so they're just filling all the voids with challenge swaps, because only 4 challenges at a time fucking sucks.
And what's stupid, too, is the event challenges get cycled in with your weeklies that you can only have 4 of at a time. So that means you start the week off with 2 weekly challenges and 2 event challenges, but once you cycle those 2 event challenges out, if you get bad RNG on those cycle swaps, you could just end up with no event challenges for a couple of hours, which is ridiculous.
I went through pretty much all of my weekly challenges, like normal weekly challenges, and then I got all of my Fiesta challenges, which I will say is nice because then I just had to play Fiesta and not worry about the other ones, but it should have been 2 separate challenge bars. You should have had your 4 challenges for normal, and then it should have had another thing for 4 of your Fiesta challenges.
The last weekly challenge thing, which I got and Hambo got, which I'm thinking everybody gets, is it's get 5 killing sprees in Fiesta, which is already a pain, but that doesn't count towards the event. That only counts towards the regular battle pass. It's a Fiesta-specific challenge that does not count towards the event, which is Fiesta specific, which is dumb as hell.
So I'm fine with the event coming back for more weeks, so that way people won't miss out on the samurai armor, because like it's Thanksgiving week, most people probably aren't spending all their time grinding out Halo challenges. But I think what they should have done is they definitely need to cut a lot of the fluff from the event rewards, and they also need to make it so if you are playing this as much as possible, which we kind of have been, you should be able to finish like the entire event in a week. It just comes back later so that if you missed anything, you don't have to worry about never getting it.
I like that I only have to complete 1 of the event ones to level up in the event. I like that. I don't have to grind over and over again to level up at once.
Yeah, completing an event challenge and getting 1 level in the event is very straightforward and easy to understand.
That might actually work out better for the regular battle pass. Like if it went back to being as challenging as it was, but it instantly levels you up, that I think people would have been more okay with.
I disagree, because Halo Reach and 4 and 5 would reward you for your play, would reward you for how well you did within the game itself. That's why you had a score, and it was great.
Well, so right. So on top of the score counting towards your battle pass challenges would potentially reward you a full level, but the challenges would be more difficult so that it felt like it was enough of a challenge and enough of a reward when you got a full level. That would make more sense.
Like in MCC, you get your regular play that'll reward you with level ups and help you progress towards winning getting new items from battle passes, but there are also like really specific challenges. I think one of the current ones is play a custom game on Icebox and finish in first with at least 3 kills. And that's really specific, kind of hard, but it rewards you, I think, with at least 3 tokens you can spend on battle pass items. Yeah. And like that is perfectly fine.
All right, let's actually go back to talking about the game portion of the game. let's talk about weapons.
Battle rifle feels solid. It feels like a proper battle rifle.
I think, and like the AR, I think this is the strongest it's been in multiplayer since CE. And the main reason it was so strong in CE
And it still
was...
needs a little bit of a buff.
It doesn't need a buff, Hambo. You just need to get better at aiming.
No, the AR does not need a buff.
Yeah, if you empty a full clip from the AR into an enemy from full health, you will kill them. If you can just keep your shots, it's good.
Yeah, you just need to work on aiming, Hambo.
Get good.
So yeah, AR definitely feels very good. I always have this, so I play a lot of Apex Legends, and with that I use the R99 a lot, and most of the time if you're not running a purple magazine on the R99, you will always run out of ammo before you can kill somebody from full shields, assuming they have purple, which is 200 HP. But Infinite doesn't have that issue with the AR, but I always feel like I'm about to run out of ammo on the AR before I can kill somebody, but I never do. So there's just that like feeling of constant anxiety as I'm in a gunfight, but it never comes.
But the sidekick is a good finisher because you're pretty much always guaranteed to pop their shields with the AR, and so if you're just starting out, then you just switch to the sidekick, do a quick headshot, and they're dead.
The sidekick's a really good gun. It feels good to use. It feels a little strange sometimes, I think mostly because of my own reaction time on like how fast I can click with it, because it's more or less as fast as you can fire. I think the design of the sidekick is kind of lame. It's kind of just regular pistol, especially because it's replacing the Magnum, which had that unique front flap thingy that's always very iconic as like, that's the Halo gun.
One other thing I want to say about general weapons, the sounds are phenomenal.
Oh yeah, 343 has really good sound.
Except for the energy sword. The energy sword sounds a bit lame.
Yeah, but all of the ballistic weapons, oh my fucking god, are they amazing to fire for sound alone. It really feels like it has a good kick.
Battle rifle, we already briefly mentioned that. Super good. It feels pretty much exactly how it did in Halo 3, which is great. I mean, it's the battle rifle. It feels exactly how it should.
I miss the DMR, but the battle rifle is a good substitute.
See, so a lot of people have been talking about all of the missing weapons in the Infinite sandbox, and I think cutting down the fat really helps with making each weapon feel like it has a unique place in the sandbox. I never thought the DMR had a unique place in the sandbox. It was just basically the battle rifle, always. And so when they had it in Reach, it felt like, well, this is dumb, give us back the battle rifle. Then in Halo 4, it was pretty much the exact same as the battle rifle. And then in Halo 5, I don't think it had enough of a unique spot. I will not miss the DMR. I hope it does not come back, because it's lame.
I only really enjoyed the DMR because I am a fucking SWAT nerd. You know, I fucking played SWAT all the fucking time, and the DMR was my preferred because I could control the fire better than a battle rifle that was forced to be burst. But it feels good. I love the battle rifle in Infinite. It feels phenomenal. I've said this before, I can't wait for SWAT because I'm gonna have so much fucking fun with it.
Of the missing weapons, I also don't want the Spartan laser to come back. The skewer is a better replacement for it.
The skewer is a better replacement, yeah. I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the Spartan laser always felt like bullshit. Like, the skewer, it's a little harder to control because of the drop. It will one-hit the squishier vehicles, but, like, it's not going to take out the tank instantly, which is, if you get the tank, nice.
The trade-off is you get the instant damage from the skewer, because when you fire the skewer, it does damage. With the Splazer, you have to have that time of charging it up before you can actually do damage, so there's a lot of that frustration if you don't get it off before you get killed, where the skewer doesn't have that. The skewer has the opposite end, where it's got a really long reload, so you have to sort of balance it out. You take your shot, you get it out of there so you can reload. That's why I have a sort of love-hate relationship with the skewer, because it's really good, it's incredibly balanced, but oh my god, is it frustrating to get killed reloading that thing. Every single time I'm using that, I get killed reloading. It's definitely much easier to take out enemy infantry with it because it does not have that charge up time like the Splazer. Also, the Cinder Shot is a great replacement for the Fuel Rod gun. I know a lot of people don't really associate the two together, but It is. It's the fuel rod gun because it does the bounce like the fuel rod gun, but it's got a ton of splash damage, and it's so easy to take out groups of 2 or 3 people. I had a moment earlier today, actually, in Fiesta, where I took out an entire team with 2 bursts of the Cinder Shot, and it felt really good. I kind of like the design of the fuel rod gun. I think my favorite design for the fuel rod gun was the Halo CE version that was purple, because I like the color purple. I also think the way it overheated in Halo CE was always more interesting than having ammo, but the Cinder Shot's a really good replacement for the fuel rod gun, so I wouldn't be sad if the fuel rod gun never sees a return. I know a lot of people think that's like a really iconic part, but to me the fuel rod gun was always just shittier spanker.
It's also really dynamic because you can aim down your sights and control the projectile when you do ADS.
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, so we were, I got that in a tooltip today. Apparently when you fire the Cinder Shot, you can make the bullet track where you're looking, which is wild. I did not know that was a thing, which is really cool.
Here are the rules of the Cinder Shot. The Cinder Shot, every shot you take will always bounce once off a surface. It will immediately explode when it hits a enemy, no matter if it has bounced or not. It will not bounce a second time. Once it hits a surface a second time, it will explode. You can ADS at any point in time during your fire to control a projectile. So if you fire, then ADS, you can control it. ADS, fire, you can control it. And you can leave ADS and back in if the projectile is still flying. It is insanely versatile. And once you learn how to properly use it, that thing can be absolutely devastating.
Commando. I still hate the Commando. I think it's garbage. I had a challenge this week for getting 15 kills with the Commando, and it was huge pain.
Commandos,
I like the Commando.
I hate it. I don't know what about it. I think it's the combination of it having recoil and bloom. It's just super inconsistent. Sometimes it hits all its shots and it feels okay. Other times it feels like I'm shooting spitwads. It's so awful. And it's got a tiny magazine, so I'm constantly running out of ammo, and then you only get so much in reserve when you pick it up, so it feels like you just get like 3 mags before it's out. I do not like it. It's worse than the AR in every way to me.
I like it because it feels punchier than the AR, but like it
sounds punchier than the AR, but it doesn't feel like it hits harder.
It needs a little bit more tweaking. I really like the design. I like the concept. And I would like to see it buffed a little bit, and then I'd love it. I do love it currently, but I want to see some changes to make it better.
So someone says, if you tap fire the Commando, it feels good. The problem I have with that is the way that Halo's gunplay has always worked is if you have a fully automatic weapon, dumping that into somebody should work. If it has recoil to it, you control the recoil, like the SMG in Halo 2. That was always pretty underpowered, but you didn't have to tap fire the SMG in Halo 2 for it to function. With the Commando, if you have to tap fire that thing, I feel like that's a failure of gun design, because you should be able to hold it down and be able to control the gun. Because, look, it's pretty divisive on whether or not people thought Bloom in Halo Reach was good, but it was pretty widely hated by a lot of people because Bloom just introduces that punishment for fully automatic fire, which I don't think fits in Halo. Bulldog, garbage.
Oh yeah, the Bulldog.
Any shotgun that you can stuff into somebody and isn't a one-shot just feels bad to use. And so if we're going to do anything to it, I think it needs a bit more range and it needs a higher fire rate or something if they're not going to buff the damage, because I get that they don't want it to be the classic shotgun where you can just slide around a corner, get a kill, and that's it. So the more range and a higher fire rate would put it into a better place, I think. Well, it would still not just be a one-shot.
Yeah, right now it's a 3-shot kill, from what I understand. 2 shots takes out the shields, and then the third delivers.
I've been 2-shot with it, so you can 2-shot people with it.
Yeah, but you have to get really close to 2-shot.
Yeah.
The sniper rifle, still great. It's always been great in every single Halo game. It's basically identical across every Halo game. It sounds really good.
Absolutely sounds wonderful.
The only issue I have with the sniper rifle is zooming in and out feels a little weird sometimes. But other than that, it's basically been balanced since CE, and so...
Well, in CE, it was you could fire that thing really fast. But after CE, I think it was like Halo 2 onwards, they slowed it down. But yeah, the sniper rifle was good. Spanker, always good. I think it's been pretty much identical across all the Halo games. It's a rocket launcher. I think it has the most splash damage in this game of any Halo. If it doesn't, it really feels like it because it's got a ton of splash damage. So it feels really good to use. It's great against vehicles. It's great against groups of Spartans. It feels beefy.
I've never been one that has enjoyed the rocket launchers in Halo, but I fucking love the Spanker.
Yeah, speaking of bad rocket launchers, the Hydra needs a buff.
The Hydra is fucking awful.
The Hydra is terrible. It's like 3 or 4 direct shots to kill a Spartan, and the lock-on is not... It's not powerful enough to curve the bullets, so most of the time you're just missing. It's awful. It's okay enough against vehicles that that's the only purpose you can do with it, but a lot of the other weapons in Halo Infinite are good against both infantry and vehicles, so having this one that is only good against the one just doesn't feel good to use.
3 shots from a sniper or 3 shots from a Hydra, and the sniper's way more consistent.
I like it. I like its concept, but again, it needs to be buffed a little bit. It needs a little bit more oomph to its damage.
The weapons that are bad in this game, the concept is good, the execution is bad.
Pulse Carbine, I think, is easily the weakest new weapon in the game. I think it's garbage.
The Ravager?
No, we'll get to the Ravager. The Pulse Carbine is garbage because the bolts are so easy to avoid. They don't do enough damage, and it overheats too quickly. So it's not good to pick up. The Stalker Rifle, really nice. I like the Stalker Rifle a lot.
Stalker Rifle's nice.
Stalker Rifle is nice.
The Stalker Rifle, I think, is supposed to fill the spot of the Covenant Carbine, and it's a bit slower, it's a bit more powerful, it sounds really beefy. I believe it's a 2-shot kill?
Yeah, it's a 2-shot headshot.
I think you can melt somebody's shield and then hit them in the head. It's 3 otherwise.
I think it's more of a replacement for the Covenant Sniper and the Carbine.
Beam Rifle?
Beam Rifle, thank you.
Yeah, I guess. I think the Shock Rifle is more the Beam Rifle replacement, because the Shock Rifle has the 1-shot headshot.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's 2 beam rifles. There's the one beam rifle that was the continuous stream, and then the one pew that was like powerful and like shot sniper.
The Halo 2 beam rifle and the thing in Reach that's useless.
The thing in Reach was garbage. That was awful. You're thinking maybe the binary rifle?
No, I'm not thinking binary.
The shock rifle is closest to the binary rifle from Halo 5, where you fire it, it's got a continuous shot. If you can hold that shot on somebody, you can get the most damage. It's a 1-shot headshot. It can also EMP vehicles, which is nice. I just think the shock rifle doesn't feel good. It's good because it's a 3-shot kill on average. It's a 1-shot headshot. But that stream and then the way it is a little weird. I'm not a fan of the fact that it has 12 rounds in a magazine and it fires 3 rounds every time you fire it. But since it's a continuous beam, why don't they just make it 4? So you fire once, that's 1. You don't fire once and that's 3, and then you have to mentally, it's basic math. I should be able to keep up with that, but in my brain just goes 12 shots. 3-shot fire, how many more shots? And that might just be my dumb brain, Needler feels great. I think, and this was already something that 343 has acknowledged they're going to be changing. The super combined noise is a bit quiet, but it still works perfectly fine. I like the Needler a lot. I think it's probably not the most overpowered version of the Needler, that still goes to probably dual wielding it in Halo 2. Maybe the Halo 1 version, it's hard to say. But yeah, the Needler's in a good place. It's a nice pickup weapon to pick up over the AR sometimes.
From the flights when it was super overpowered to now, it's in a really good place.
What I like about it is it encourages you to do the explosive by, shooting them with more and more of the needles to create the explosion. It encourages that more than before.
It also requires you to, I will say, it also requires you to think a little bit more, because the distance for the tracking is
very short.
Yeah, it's very short, but you also can't just charge someone head on with it, because you're probably gonna lose that gun battle if they have a decent shot. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna probably lose that gun battle. So you have to be shooting someone from above or behind or from the side. You can't just go head on.
The plasma pistol. I know a lot of people are unhappy with the fact that the plasma pistol can't EMP vehicles anymore, but I think with the introduction of dynamo grenades, the shock rifle, and the disruptor, I don't think it needs to. I know it's always been known as the vehicle EMP thing since Halo 3. I don't think it could EMP vehicles in Halo 2. I think that was 3 onwards. And I know it's a weird change for people because it's known as that thing, but I honestly don't care. It's still really good as just charging it up, shield killing somebody, and then swapping to a precision weapon for the noob combo. It's got that place because now the disruptor and the shock rifle and the dynamo grenades are the vehicle weapons. This is the Spartan killer.
Also, shooting it normally, not using the charge shot, is fine now. It used to basically just be you could only, if you wanted to use it, you could only do the charge shot.
It's still a weak option. Like, I wouldn't choose to fire a plasma pistol normally, but it's not a death sentence like it used to be. The energy sword, we touched on that a little bit. It sounds pretty weak. Its visuals are also pretty weak. It's not very bright, and it looks kind of fakey.
Yeah, it looks like a JPEG.
Yeah, it looks really bland compared to the other games. So it just kind of feels like it's cool. Like, obviously it's an energy sword, but it doesn't feel like it is what it used to be.
The general lunge range on it is nice, and it kills well. I mean, it's a one-shot kill as it's always been, so it feels totally normal.
And combining it with the
grapple shot.
Yeah, grapple.
I've seen some amazing plays and had some amazing plays done to me with it. It's insane what people are doing with the grapple shot right now with it.
Gravity hammer, I have grown accustomed to. I don't know if I like it all that much yet. It's much, much slower than it previously is, so you can't just walk around a corner and like panic slam at somebody, but it has a wider area of effect to the front, so you can hit people from further away than you'd expect. There is also sometimes when you will hit marker somebody, which is a little bit frustrating because I feel like you should either kill them or not. I don't think it should be able to hit marker somebody, but we'll see.
I think it might just need some tweaking to fix it, and maybe it's like a bug, because I hit someone over the head with it, and I only got a hit marker.
It definitely feels more
older Halo games, you always had the chance of it not killing them if you just weren't close enough. I think with the wider range, sometimes it could feel like they might be close enough, but they may not be. I don't know. Definitely needs a little bit more tweaking.
Lots of the ones where I'm getting hit markers, they're right in front of me. Like some of them I swing too far and I notice I get a hit marker and I'm like, that makes sense. But some of it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Some major hitbox issues that are still needing to be fixed.
And I think a lot of it comes down to just the collision bug right now that they know is in the game. Because meleeing normally it's so inconsistent right now.
The Mangler feels really good. It feels very meaty to shoot, and it does enough damage that meaty shot feels about right.
It's a 3-shot, and I like it.
It's a 3-shot, and it feels like it should be a 3-shot when you're fighting.
I really didn't like the Mangler at the beginning of Halo, of playing Infinite, but it's kind of grown on me. It's definitely not going to be a gun I'd pick up immediately if I saw it, but it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, please, anything but the Mangler.
I like to pick it up, honestly.
I do too, but to me it feels like, I could be wrong and I probably am, but it feels like it has a little bit of tracking on it, and it's a little weird. Because like I feel like I shoot right over someone's shoulder and it still hits them.
Yeah, that may just be general Halo forgiveness on how weapons are. We'll see. The Disruptor, I know a lot of people are kind of on the fence about the Disruptor because it's got so many things that it can do. I think a lot of people don't realize what it does. So the Disruptor, when you hit somebody 6 times, that will disrupt their shields, bring it down, and they will damage over time. They will just get shocked to death.
1 hit is supposed to do the DOT effect, I believe.
Well, yeah, so 6 is the point where it will kill them. If you hit people with the Disruptor, that shock can jump to other people and disrupt their shields, so it's a nice, just sort of dealing a lot of low damage around a bunch of people. It can disrupt vehicles with an EMP effect if you hit them enough times. I think it's 7 to hit a vehicle, so that's also really fun. It's good for taking out like hogs and things like that. The shock rifle is more suited for longer distance stuff. Like, I was absolutely bullying a wasp the other day. I would hit it a couple of times and it would just go careening to the ground, and then I'd wait for it to get back up and then I'd hit it again.
Oh, and I've been in that situation where I've been shocked. Yeah. And it is so annoying because it's like there's nothing you can do unless you can figure out who the hell is shooting you with the disruptor or the shock rifle.
I really like that it is almost you fire it as quickly as you can click.
It's semi-auto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully semi-auto, not.
Oh no, it's automatic. The disruptor is automatic.
Oh yes, sorry, yes.
It's automatic?
I
Wait,
figured
what?
that out.
Yeah, the disruptor is a fully automatic gun.
Okay.
I learned something new.
Yeah.
The Ravager, I would put the Ravager one step above the Pulse Carbine only because its alt fire is good. The main fire mode of the Ravager is awful. It's terrible. I had a weekly challenge for killing people with the Ravager. Of all the times I used it, I got 2 kills. I ended up swapping that challenge out because it was so bad. It's really, really bad.
The Ravager feels like it should be restricted to objective game modes, especially because of the alt fire. It doesn't belong in like Fiesta or Slayer.
See, and I disagree. I think it could be used very well in those modes if it gets a buff and gets put in a better place.
The Ravager feels like it should be doing beefy damage that it does not do because of its sound design. It feels it's got really good sound design. It's just shitty output.
Like I agree. It definitely it will favor objective modes, but in where it is right now, it doesn't even do that because I've hit people direct on with it and it doesn't kill them like it should because it's supposed to be a one hit if you direct hit them.
I'm a bit on the fence about the Heatwave still. I think its horizontal shot kind of sucks, but the vertical shot, if you can land all the shots on somebody, feels good. I believe it's a 3-shot kill. The bouncing, I've also killed people with the bouncing, which was good. I had a moment where somebody used the Heatwave on me, killed me, and it bounced through my body back at them and killed them, which was really funny. So the bouncing is good, and you can sort of use it on groups of people. It's also okay against vehicles. Like, I've used it against a Warthog, and it was okay. It's not fantastic.
Against a ghost, it's actually really good. It's like, I think 3 or 4 shots to kill a ghost, and it's nice.
Yeah, overall, I don't normally pick up the Heatwave, but it's not... I hated it at the beginning, and I don't hate it as much anymore. I think it's okay. Sentinel Beam is weird in this game. I'm still not used to the fact that you have to reload it after a moment, but that feels balanced enough. Up close, it shreds people. It's really powerful. Also, the effect of just like watching people disintegrate after you kill them is really fun. At range, even though the beam goes all the way at range, it doesn't do damage at range very well. So I feel like maybe a better visual indicator of where the optimal range is on the laser would be nice. Like maybe a brighter coloration difference or something like that.
Like it's hotter up close, but like it goes to like red to blue kind of thing.
Something like that, yeah. Just some visual indicator of where the best damage threshold is would be good.
Out of all of the Sentinel Beams in the Halo games, this one has been my favorite. I feel like
because it's usable in this one.
Yeah, because the Sentinel Beams in previous games is awful. It was awful in 2, it was awful in 3, and then it was a kind of a joke weapon in 5. I think they added it later on, and it was just eh.
When I get the Sentinel Beam in Halo Infinite, I'm not sitting there like, shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's burn some bitches.
It's fun to use, and it feels good. It just needs that better indicator of where the damage threshold is, I think, and then it'll be really good. So overall, the weapon sandbox is one of the strongest in all of the Halos. I'm not missing any of the weapons that aren't there. I think all of the weapons that are here cover a ton of bases on like what I would expect out of a game where every weapon should be unique enough that it has its own place. It never feels like they're trying to throw in some weapons, because it was like Halo 2, they replaced the AR with the SMG, and then Halo 3, they had both the AR and the SMG, and the SMG just was a shittier version of the AR that you could dual wield, which was also shitty. And there was a point where I think especially 4 and 5 had a lot of redundancies in weapons, especially because of the way that Halo 4 balanced their weapon system, but Halo 5 had a lot of redundancies.
I do miss the sticky detonator, but I also miss the saw. It felt like, I mean, I know it's basically like the AR except giant mag size and higher firing rate, but I think it could work as like a power weapon.
I don't know. The saw is fun to use, but I never thought it was all that unique in the sandbox. It's just a super AR, basically. It was not that great as a unique weapon, and I think that it's good that it's gone. I wouldn't miss it if it never comes back. I think the sticky det would be fun to have. I think the sticky det is probably one of the most underrated guns in the entire Halo franchise, because it was in 4 and it was like a little bit fun, and then it wasn't in 5, so it was just kind of, it had its...
There's like one spot in Halo 4's campaign where you use the sticky detonator, and I think if 343 had given you more opportunities to use it and see just how fun it was, people would have really liked it.
It is crazy, though, with Halo Infinite, how much Halo Infinite feels like playing Halo 3 in the modern age. Because that was sort of, that's where I consider the peak of the series. I know everybody has their own opinion of what was the peak of the series, but I feel like that was the perfect place to aim for, and they really got it. It feels so much fun, it feels so nostalgic, while also keeping up with modern shooters, and it is hands down the best shooter this year, which is not much of a competition, because its competition is a really fucking weird World War II shooter, and a shooter that's broken at launch, that's basically unplayable for most people.
And then all the battle royales.
Yeah, tons of battle royales. Like, as much as I love Apex, it was so good to come back to Halo and not have to deal with BR, because I like Apex's gunplay a lot, because it's the Titanfall style gunplay and stuff like that. But I'm not a huge fan of BR overall, and there was a moment where we'd been playing a lot of Halo, and I went back to Apex, and it was like, oh my god, I have to scrounge around for weapons and stuff again. This doesn't feel fun anymore to me. Not that it ever was. I don't think scrounging around for weapons and things was fun. I always like to get a hot enough drop that I can grab some stuff and get into fights early and get what I need early in the game, so I'm not scrounging around a lot. But that's not related to Halo at this point.
I want to talk about effects, and this kind of plays with the weapons a little bit. I don't like how 343 has done some of the effects, specifically the fire armor effect. It looks like shit. In all the other Halos that have had armor effects like that have been particle effects, so they looked like something is on fire. What they've done here is they have added an invisible layer over the armor and over the helmet, and they have attached essentially a fire GIF to that layer, and the layer does not go in line with the armor. It's like a bubble around the armor, and it looks like shit. And I think they've used like similar things for like the Ravager and any other weapon that causes fire, and I'm just like,
also on a similar vein, a lot of the weapons when you reload are 30 FPS animations that are not interpolated, so it's super weird at a higher frame rate. It's especially noticeable on the skewer, which is another one of those things that falls into MCC had it. I don't know why they didn't have it here, because Halo 1 for a while had 30 FPS animations that they then added interpolation to make it smoother. So the stuff is still running at 30 FPS, but the frames are interpolated in between, so at a higher fire rate it looks smoother. They can do that, they just didn't, and I don't know why. That should be an easy enough thing to implement. I'm sure we will see it, it's just not there yet.
I haven't noticed it myself, and I have monitors that go at 140 hertz, but I would very much like it to be, at higher frame rates than 30.
Yeah, the oddball effect is the same way. It's 30 FPS and not interpolated. I also think the fire looks a little bit meh. I don't like how the fire changes colors, red and blue. That kind of hurts my eyes a little bit when I'm holding it. I also just, if we want to talk about game modes, fuck oddball. I don't think oddball's fun. I know oddball is like a classic Halo mode, but yeah, breathe. Look,
agreed.
Holding... Oh, you said agreed. I thought you said breathe.
No, I said agreed.
Yeah, look, holding the oddball isn't fun. In previous games, you had the one-shot smack, and they changed that, and I agree with that change, because the one-shot smack could get a little bit cheesy, but holding the oddball and doing nothing isn't fun. It's not like CTF, where you have a clear goal of where you need to move the flag to get there. The oddball is just like, hold the ball. It's like, this isn't fun. And that may be, everybody's got their own opinion, so I'm sure a lot of people in the comments will be like, well, that's just you. That's a classic Halo thing that's been in there for 20 years. Like, I know. I've been playing Halo for 20 years. I've never liked oddball.
I enjoy oddball, but like...
Especially the really close games. Really close games are so
fun when everyone is on point and work together really well. But they made it not fun to hold the ball. Like, people avoid holding the ball. We were playing oddball earlier today. All of us were grabbing the ball except this one random who just would not grab the ball, and we lost because he just would not participate.
About 15 points, too.
Yeah.
No, I thought it wasn't even closer than that. I thought it was like 10 points difference.
Yeah, it was close.
Because it's so unfun, because you can't sprint, you can't do anything with the ball. Like, you don't want to touch it because you have more fun running around shooting people.
If you could just run with it, fixed. I'd be happy with that. If you could run with it. If you could actually somewhat get away when holding it, that would be awesome. People can still chase you down. You still can't fire back without dropping the ball, so you're still kind of defenseless, but at least let me run.
Capture the flag is great again. I think in Halo 4 it was kind of weak, and they added the ability to shoot with your pistol while you had the flag, which was an interesting change, and that carried over into 5. But I think the overall experience of CTF was not all that great in 4 and 5, so now they got rid of the ability to use your pistol in favor of when you have the flag and you are walking, you are not spotted. But if you sprint, then you reveal yourself to the enemy team. So there's that trade-off of
stealthy versus fast.
So you have that sort of trade-off. That's fun. It requires more teamwork than being able to use your pistol and sort of being able to defend it by yourself. Not that it works all that well at defending it by yourself, but that sort of is gone now. It's all about teamwork. Slayer is Slayer. Slayer is always Slayer. You know what I mean. It's team deathmatch. It's classic. It's always good. The weapon sandbox is really good for it. I really like the new game modes they added in Big Team Battle. Stockpile is super fun.
It's so much fun.
Stockpile's
It's so much fun.
I talked about that day one. It was already instantly fun. Oh, we missed Strongholds. Strongholds in Quick Play. Strongholds is pretty basic. It's, capture a zone, you win. It's fun. It's fine.
It's still fun. I have seen people complaining about having all of these objective modes, and I think objective modes are really fun, even if you don't want to play them and you'd rather play Slayer.
Well, so there's a lot of people, and this has been a problem I haven't personally encountered, but there's been a lot of people where they say, oh, it's 50 XP either way if you win or lose, so they just don't do the objective, which is really stupid. And at that point, just give them their fucking non-objective mode so they can go there and be an asshole there. That way, people who want to play the objective modes will play the objective modes. That needs to be separated. So we need Slayer, SWAT, Fiesta in their own thing.
But I think that also comes down to the XP system still fucking sucks, and people playing the objective and having better score need to be rewarded, because getting the same score for capturing 16 objectives compared to someone who gets 0 doesn't matter.
Total Control is a lot of fun, except on Deadlock, because Deadlock sucks.
Deadlock is not a good map. I don't like it.
I like Total Control on Fracture a lot. There's that big team capture the flag is good most of the time, as long as you've got a team that actually wants to push the flag.
I think the one thing with BTB cap the flag is there needs to be guess there's the indicator, but so many people still bring it to our flag instead of to where the objective point is, because it's like normal CTF, you take it back to your own flag, you don't take it to the top of your base. So I don't know if it's just something people need to get into or over time, but I don't know.
In previous Halo games, I never touched the objective modes. I would always play Slayer. I am really enjoying a lot of the objective modes, and I actually want to play them.
And that's probably the reason they're doing what they're doing with the quick play and stuff, is they want people to try all the modes, but I just hope that when full release comes that they change it and that it's a menu select.
Yeah, they fucking better. I fucking hate not being able to select things, but I'm having fun regardless.
This is straight up just my favorite Halo multiplayer. I have not liked, aside from custom games, I have not liked the other Halo multiplayers, because I only picked up Halo at the end of 2020, so going into MCC multiplayer was everyone else has been playing Halo since they came out of the womb, and I'm just getting started, and I just keep getting stuck.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, because with MCC, there's a lot of sweaty people in MCC. It's Halo 1 was a product of its time. It's very weird overall, and the spawns are shit. Halo 2's sandbox has an over-reliance on precision weaponry. Halo 3 is probably the best overall experience, but also the lack of modern conveniences make it feel a little bit dated for people. Halo Reach has an overall really weak sandbox, and Sprint just dominates because that's the only thing people want to use because it's really good versus the other armor abilities. Halo 4 changes up the formula too much. Halo 5 isn't exactly available on PC. I know it's got the Forge mode, but it's not really. So Infinite it marries all the best stuff of the previous Halo games into a new thing, and it's free for people to get into.
This is my first Halo multiplayer, and I never would have paid for the game if it was, and I never would have played this if it wasn't free or on sale.
And I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they should have just made it $60 and given us the customization, but making it free was the best thing they could do, because after Halo 4 and 5, people were tired of 343 Halos, so they needed to prove that Halo was cool again. So making it free and having people try it out and realizing it's fucking great is perfect. They could, down the line, if they wanted to add like a bundle so you could buy a bunch of armor pieces through like a, $30, $45, $60 bundle, like I'd probably pick that up. I think people who would try it free would want to pick that up that way.
I've got
I'd be more
friends who have never touched a Halo in their lives before playing this and having a lot of fun and dominating me.
I'd be more inclined to buy stuff for the game, especially the Champion Series armors are really cool, but you can't customize them.
The customization system's overall crap.
And it's kind of a bummer because you're paying Canadian, it's like $15 for that, and you get no customization. You can't do anything with it. Like, it's cool armor cores and stuff, but I can't do anything with it. So it's I just look like everybody else.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about this right now, so we don't really need to get too far into that, but basically, we need cross-core customization, give it to us, and then armor kits should be able to at least change the color on an armor kit. Like, come on. Yes, vehicles. Hog, great. I love the Hog. I think it's very well balanced. I like that they got rid of the cooldowns on the turret. I said that day one.
We finally have a fucking transport hog.
The transport Hog, it's fully available in multiplayer now, because previously it was you could only drive it in the campaigns of 3 and Reach. I think those were the only ones where it showed up. I don't think it showed up in 4.
And in Forge mode, they added it later on in MCC, I think past year.
Yeah, but you couldn't get in the back. You could only get in the front 2 seats.
And the Razorback is great for carrying seeds and flags.
Yeah, the Razorback is a lot of fun. I know a lot of people think the Razorback is kind of meh, and if it's on a mode that doesn't require objectives, it's kind of meh, but it's great in CTF, it's great in Stockpile. The Rocket Hog is garbage. The rockets on the Rocket Hog do not do enough splash damage, they don't do enough damage, they're not good enough against vehicles, they're not fast enough to deal with aerial craft. It just needs a buff.
In every other Halo, it was like having the Spanker on a Warthog.
It was so much fun.
Now, it's not.
In the other Halos, the Rocket Hogs were a bit overpowered.
Yeah.
And now it's underpowered.
I also think that if they can make it, if they can buff it into a good place, it's a good replacement for the Goshawk. I think the Goshawk doesn't need to come back. I know a lot of people like the Goshawk a lot, myself included, but I think for the multiplayer, the Rocket Hog could fill its spot because it's not a precision vehicle that you can just snipe people across the map with, which was always a bit ridiculous. It's got that travel time to be able to avoid things.
But I do want the Gauss-Hog in the campaign. I like the Gauss-Hog.
I mean, the campaign would be fine. The Wasp is all right. I think it can be a little bit oppressive to ground people sometimes, but also it's slow enough to shoot, and the missiles are not crazy splash damage to them. Banshee needs a bit of a buff in the Banshee Bomb.
The Banshee really needs a buff. Yeah, the bomb does not kill.
It's also super weak. I think maybe if a skewer hits it from the front, it should be able to tank a shot because it's got armor on the front. If you hit it from the back or the side, that would probably be okay for one shot. But yeah, I think from the front, it should be able to tank a shot, and that would make it a little bit different from the Wasp. Overall, the maneuverability on the Banshee is nice.
I think the Wasp, like the gun, maybe could use a little bit of a buff. It does feel really weak, but that could just be me.
The Ghost is in a good place. I think it's pretty much perfect how it is.
Ghost is really good, yeah.
The
Chopper sucks balls.
I like the Chopper, actually.
The Chopper can go fucking far. If you hit a ramp and you hit that boost, Jesus Christ, you better be going to the fucking moon.
As far as I can tell with the Chopper, ramming a vehicle doesn't do damage to the vehicle, which it should because it's big giant blades on the front. If it does, it doesn't do enough. But I feel like that's what the Chopper should do, is it should be a ramming vehicle. The Mongoose is fun. It's the Halo 5 design, so sitting backwards is a little silly, I think, versus the sitting forwards of the other games, but whatever. It functions identically. It makes a nice little fun, fast transport thing.
The Gun Goose is a lot of fun.
The Gun Goose is fun.
The Gun Goose, I think, is a little bit weak. I think the rockets on the Gun Goose need to do more damage.
It's weak. I agree.
It's supposed to be weak, though. It's
Yeah, it is
I
a
don't know.
mongoose with guns. I don't expect it to be a rocket.
I don't.
hog.
It's not like you're basically fully exposed, shooting grenade launchers. Like it's fun, but like I'm not like expecting to go on a tear with a gun goose. I'm expecting to shoot some guys, maybe get a couple kills, and then get shot off the gun goose.
The fucking tank. Let me tell
Tank
you about the
controls
fucking tank.
super weirdly. It's
Okay,
It feels very awkward to use.
So-
The controls on the tank are pretty ass.
yeah, that's just like, what the fuck? Change it back now.
The tank was super powerful the one time I used it because it's such a fucking rare spawn that it rarely spawns. The new system that they have for vehicle spawns where you are told what vehicle is coming in, a pelican comes in, drops it off, and everybody has to rush to it. I think that's better than having them spawn at a base because that, number one, that keeps people from just waiting at your fucking base to steal the tank first while you're waiting. I think they show up too late into the modes, but that's the common criticism, and I think they will probably be changing that. But that new system of having it drop near one side and having everybody rush to it is good, because that means that it's a vehicle supremacy kind of thing. You get the good vehicle if you're good enough to get the good vehicle.
power vehicles.
Power vehicles.
I used the Wraith a couple times, and it is so much fun.
I haven't had a chance to use the Wraith yet, actually. I haven't.
Yeah, the Wraith
I
is
think
good.
the Wraith-
The Wraith is the Wraith.
The Wraith is in a really good spot. It controls really well. It hits really well. And it's a tank, right? But it's still not too tanky, if you know what I mean.
But again, it also has the issue of spawning in too late. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah.
I only saw it
they
once
are-
in
yeah.
BTB when
I
we
really-
took the enemy
Both of
team's
them.
Wraith.
We had both Wraiths. I
Yeah.
do think, it would be nice if they changed that around, because I understand the tanks are super overpowered, but we can't experience them. I think, we've only had like 1 or 2 games where they've even dropped.
What's the map with the 2 bases and the hole in the middle?
It's high power.
High power? So the wasps spawn at the base on high tower? High tower? High power?
High Tower's TF2.
Yeah, high tower. Okay, so the wasps spawn at the base, and I don't like that because you will always have people camping the spawns for the wasp, and so they're either not contributing to the team or just waiting to steal the vehicle, which is why the pelican dropping vehicles in makes more sense.
And then you
Yeah.
throw in some people having challenges, and it gets, oh boy.
I think for the wasp spawning at the base, they need at least a timer, because there's no indication when it's going to spawn.
Yeah, there is.
I
Yeah.
have not seen a timer.
Not for the wasps.
So okay.
Yeah, not for
Oh,
the
not
wasps.
for the wasp?
No. It would be nice if there was, so that, say it just respawns, at least people would be less inclined to sit there and wait the whole time.
Yeah, so for all guns and vehicles that have the hologram spawner, you will see
The
on
wasp
the
doesn't
side,
have a hologram spawner. It just blinks in.
the-
It just blinks in.
I guess on
watched it
high
spawn
power
in.
it doesn't.
No,
But on any of the ones that do have hologram spawners,
Yes,
you
they
will
have little. They
see-
have little timers. Yes,
yeah, you'll see the little bar slowly fill up.
but no,
Timers are so useful. It's,
no,
and
I love
having
the
the weapons on like pedestal, like the power
And-
weapons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could talk about that. Being able to see the timer.
The tooltips are great in this game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the tooltips, I've actually legitimately learned things through the tooltips. Like, I know I had already known how the disruptor works, but I had a point where I killed a guy, but he had hit me enough times with the disruptor that I died from shock damage, and if I didn't know what it did, there was a tooltip that popped up that said, the disruptor does damage over time and disrupts your shields. So it's like, oh, if I didn't know how that worked, now that I've been killed by the disruptor, I get a little tooltip about it that says, this is why I got killed by the disruptor. That's good information to learn about the game. That's how I learned about the Cinder Shot. I had no idea the Cinder Shot could be controlled, but a tooltip told me. Perfect. That's exactly what a tooltip should be.
I don't know if they have the Cinder Shot in the bot matches and the Academy and all this stuff there. That's super helpful.
Yeah, you can play
That
every
shit-
weapon in the academy. So you can go in there and you can test any weapon in the game.
That I don't know why it took until 2021 for Halo to have that. Just give me somewhere where I can practice weapons, and
I mean,
That feels
we had
nice.
Forge mode. We had Forge mode where we could do that.
Kinda. This is more like an actual dedicated thing for especially like weapon drills.
Is there anything we haven't touched?
I mean, missing game modes, like, I would like Infection back. I got my Fiesta back. I love Fiesta. SWAT needs to come back, yeah.
Yeah.
I say I don't have any thoughts on those because I haven't played Halo before in multiplayer.
There's been a funny bug. So whenever vehicles spawn in through the holograms, they get larger and larger and then become corporeal that you can get in. But there's a bug where you can get into a mini hog, and because of the way that the IKs work on animations, which are basically the system telling the hands and feet where to hold on, you actually hold on to the mini hog properly, even if you're normally sized, so it looks really ridiculous. A mode where you're in mini hogs would be hilarious, or just mini vehicles in general.
Like a miniature mongoose would be hilarious. A miniature ghost would be hilarious.
Yeah, like bumper ghosts, like you can't shoot with the ghosts, but you have to knock people off of a platform would be hilarious. And they're just little miniature ghosts.
Also, the intro bug where like you spawn into the match and you look around and you don't
I
see your
hope
fourth
they don't
teammate.
fix that.
So, yeah, sometimes there's a bug where you have a black screen at the beginning of a match, and if you do, any movements you have will move your character, so then you can get that guaranteed staring at a wall or something dumb. That's so funny. And it spawns you back in the proper place once the match starts, so it's not like you can cheese it by sort of learning a layout and getting to a power weapon before anyone else. Like, it spawns you back. Just leave it in. It's funny. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Earlier we were playing and I was able to do that, and I got the arms cross animation, so it just looks like I'm judging everyone like, yeah, your armor looks like shit.
Even
Yeah,
though
I've
you're
still
wearing
got
the exact
that.
same armor as us.
I've still got that picture of Will's character just like facing the wrong way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you see those videos where there's people like their characters are off in the back corner staring into a wall, and
Yeah.
like it's something that they should leave in because it's a funny bug, and unless it's affecting the actual gameplay, stuff like that should be left in.
And if they're going to take it out, they should add in a rare chance for an animation where you're facing the wrong direction and like one of the other Spartans tries to like get you to face the right direction or something. Like, that would be funny. In terms of actual legitimate bugs, I talked about the weapon swapping to your secondary, swapping back to your primary bug, which is still a thing. I've been able to mostly not have it happen anymore, but I know a lot of my friends were still having that issue. I know Austin was getting really frustrated with that.
Yes, it happens. Yeah.
It happens.
The disruptor is currently bugged where sometimes it doesn't apply the shock correctly, so the damage over time doesn't go. There's a bug where when you get jacked out of a vehicle, you can't fire your weapon until you swap weapons, which is definitely probably the most frustrating one.
Even getting out of vehicle, where you get a bug where you can't fire. I've had that.
There's bugs with the kill feed saying that you got killed by a weapon that you didn't, but that one's a minor one because it's fine. It's just kind of funny where it's like one time I got killed by a spanker and it was like, you got hit with a battle rifle. It's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I had that happen today. I got hit by a grav hammer and it's like, you died to a grenade. I'm like, no, I didn't.
I've also had kills attributed to me with random weaponry. Like one time somebody killed themselves and I was like, Willie also killed him with a Hydra. It's like, I don't even have a Hydra. What?
But the
Speaking
big
of
bug right
polish-
now that's affecting a lot of it is the melee bug, where
Yeah.
which they know about. Meleeing someone after you crack their shields and having you go through their body is really annoying. I've thrown grenades through people's body. Like today, I had to try and get sticks with grenades. There was some guy who was AFK and it went through his body.
And that is a bug, because I know there are a lot of people that are like, oh, enemies should have collision. Enemies do have collision. It's just a bug that doesn't work. And that's the worst bug in the game. And if the worst bug in the game is punching is inconsistent, that's fine.
There's
What's
a
the
bug
I don't
I've been running into, and
Which?
this is straight up like absolutely crashes my game and completely closes the executable. And that is, there is apparently a bug with the plasma weapons, because my game crashes, and this has only happened with plasma weaponry. When I either fire a certain plasma weapon at some certain time of day when the moon is at 2 o'clock p.m., like really weird, or when me and another player fire at each other with plasma. Happened earlier today. I was in a Wraith, I fired at someone, they fired at me with a plasma, and my game completely locked up.
that must not be a very popular bug because I haven't even seen anything on it.
I haven't seen anything like that. I will say, though, theater mode causes my game to crash. I wish
theater
that
mode
was
is
fixed.
right now.
Yeah, theater mode definitely crashes the game.
But I think if we're talking like the most abundant bug that everyone is noticing, it's the melee bug. The melee bug is the biggest bug in the game right now.
Yeah, there's also, you'll get backsmacked from the front because of the bug, which is super annoying.
The hitboxes,
Yeah,
I think, are
weird.
just really fucked up when it comes to meleeing. But hitboxes are just in a weird spot right now, and they need to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Which could also, like, going back to when I talked about with the Mangler, that could be an issue because the hitboxes are fucked up.
Yep.
That feeling like I'm missing them, but I'm hitting them.
I guess to wrap this up, because we've been talking for an hour and a half now, all of the stuff we've talked about, even the negative and the positive far outweighs the negatives. This game is so much fun to play, and we've been playing it every single day for multiple hours. I have 45 hours. This game has been out for 10 days.
Yeah.
I have 30 hours right now.
Yeah, I have 40 hours.
Everybody on my friends list that I've seen is playing the game has over 10 hours in the game already, which is insane.
We cannot convince Sky to play Halo. He will not even download it and try it. So in the comment section, if you're here right now in the comment section, say, "Hey Sky, download and play Halo." Just do it.
Custom games. I can't change the settings in custom games. I can change the
custom
map.
games needs.
Custom games are kind of buggy. Yeah, custom games will cause me to crash. If I try to load one of my saved custom games, it will crash my game pretty consistently.
All I have to say about like the feel of it, I'm so happy Halo's back. I've been saying this. It feels like I'm back in middle school.
Halo's back, baby!
If I have to attribute like with this game, like this is my first Halo game, and it makes me feel like how when I first started playing Call of Duty. This is
Hambo?
because Call of Duty's been in
Hambo, I can't believe you just compared Halo to Call of Duty.
No, no,
You're hereby
fuck
banned
outta
from
here.
the server. Get out.
fuck outta here.
Get out.
No,
Out.
I'm comparing my
Out now.
feelings.
Nope, out. I've kicked him
Out.
from the call. He's gone. It's okay, Halo
But, like,
fans. We will not be talking about Call of Duty here. Special thanks to my patrons for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel as well, you'll get your own custom avatar that'll go at the end of the videos that you help support that month.